Another well-known picture shows the mother and the daughter together. Yvonne's haircut matches the previous photo, so it seems to be taken on the same day, but now they are wearing formal dress while posing near a window on an outside terrace. We call it the switch photo, since this is their last known picture before they exchange their identities. This iconic photo became the key to the Calment secrets of longevity. Even the validators had doubts over the picture as they said in one of their books. It is true that the photo where she is with Yvonne, the one we published, has troubled many people, even scholars. The mother appears much more fit than the daughter. We know that Dr. Lebre believed that the picture of Yvonne with parasol was of Jeanne. Since Yvonne's look is almost the same as the switch photo, the validators must have been confused about which of them is which here too. They misidentified them, as they later misidentified another picture of Yvonne as Jeanne in the envoyé spécial documentary on France 2.
Elle, je suppose que c'est Yvonne, oui. Et elle a entre 20 et 25 ans, d'accord. Ça, je veux dire, c'est sa mère, oui. Et elle a entre 40 et 45 ans.
Ah, ok, on partage le même avis.
These confusions are not surprising, since the old Madame Calment looked like the aged Yvonne. Nevertheless, supporters of her record claim that photographic evidence somehow proves that she was Jeanne. We will return to this in later lectures. On the switch photo, Jeanne has a wrapped present on the table in front of her and looks down on an arrangement of flowers which we believe to be Carline thistle, a species of spiny stalkless flower that blooms in the alpine meadows in the late summer. They could certainly find more attractive flowers to give as a present, but preferred Carline thistle for its herbal properties. It was used as a remedy for chest infections, including tuberculosis. The switch photo provides us with a lot of useful details. Jeanne looks gaunt and appears to be darker than Yvonne, as sunbathing was an essential part of treatment in Lausanne. The curtains and the table on the picture match those seen on postcards from there. In 2020, we visited the Belvedere, which is now a school of hotel management, and examined the windows overlooking the backyard, finding them similar to the window in the picture. But is their location consistent with the shade pattern seen on the photo? Yvonne's appearance is very close to the photo with the parasol, which is dated August, the time of year when Carline thistle blooms. So we believe that the switch photo was also taken in August. This model shows that for the shadow pattern seen in the switch photo, the light should be coming from 33 degrees to the right of Jeanne's position, and the sun's elevation should be 26 degrees above the horizon, with a possible variation of about 5 degrees. The ground floor terrace is therefore inconsistent with the position of the sun, which would be too high on the south side for the shadow pattern in the photograph. On the other hand, this pattern is plausible for 8:30 in the morning on the higher terrace of the Belvedere, which is facing northeast to east. Most of the windows in Lausanne that we checked were not suitable for the photo, but the window in front of Yvonne's position at the corner of the terrace seems to be a good match. On the north side of the building, windows of the same size have survived, and they appear to be fine for the switch photo. The height of the windowsill is also consistent, and we even found footage of doctors looking at X-rays on a neighboring window in a 1935 film about Lausanne. Overall, there is a good chance that the switch photo was taken at almost the same place and time as the photo of Yvonne alone. The shadows in the picture of Yvonne suggest that it was taken an hour later. Unfortunately, we can't reconstruct the photos of Calment on the terrace because it was built over in the late 1960s to add more room to the hotel. In 2020, we visited the room which is located in the place of the switch window. It could be that on a sunny morning in August 1931, they took a picture of Jeanne receiving gifts from Yvonne on the terrace of Belvedere. Yvonne was then photographed alone with a view that would not reveal her location, and the postcards with this photo were sent to her friends and family. 66 years later, one of them died in Arles as the oldest human ever. The switch photo is interesting to compare with a picture from a Paris report showing Jeanne Calment at her home a few years earlier. We see that in Lausanne, Jeanne had lost a considerable amount of weight, unlike her daughter. Weight loss is a hallmark of pulmonary tuberculosis and is associated with poor prognosis. On the other hand, we have found a picture that shows a group of ladies from Leskola Mistralenka on a carnival float in Arles dated July 1931. On the left at the front, Yvonne, in her distinguishing Charlatan bow tie headdress, can be identified with some uncertainty. Yvonne was not well in 1928 when her husband Joseph asked for the 5-year leave from the army, but by 1931 it was Jeanne's health that was the cause for concern. It is hard to avoid the conclusion that it was Jeanne and not Yvonne who was ill in 1931. In the revalidation paper of 2019, which, despite being entirely wrong, had cemented the scientific and public consensus on Calment's authenticity, her validators, Rabin and Allard, said that Yvonne had been treated for tuberculosis in Lausanne and that she had been there for a long time, at least since April 1931, when her name was not transcribed in a messy census record for the Calment family in Arles. This is unlikely to be true. We know that Madame Calment had told her validators that Yvonne hadn't spent much time in a sanatorium, and that it was in Haute-Savoie, not in Switzerland. We also know that those foreign patients who stayed in Lausanne for more than 3 months had to be registered, and such documents are preserved in the communal archives, but the names of Jeanne and Yvonne were not found there. Unfortunately, the confidential records of the sanatorium are not available and have probably been destroyed. But we did not give up and continued our investigation.